The topic of couching, let's talk about this. This is a braiding foot, single cord braiding foot. And it's made for, as you can see, a cord to go through. On the underside it's all cut out. So I have a piece of yarn ribbon here. And see, it's pretty narrow because it's a narrow braid foot. I'm going to feed that through. You're going to catch it. And then you're going to position your fabric wherever you want it. And on my machine, I chose row 2, stitch number 44. I think I'm going to do number 42. When I did stitch number, this is row 2 with stitch number 44. Doesn't that look pretty cool when I tried it out the first time? So this is number 42. We're going to do 42 and 44 so you can see how this looks. As soon as you put it down into hover, you just got to make sure that it doesn't fall into that groove. That's all you have to do, and it'll hold it pretty well. Just gently guide the fabric. So that's number 42, row 2 stitch 42, and this is row 2 stitch 44. This is the narrow braid cord foot, braiding foot, I guess. I picked this up, I think I got it on eBay. Someone sold it used. It said used, and it fits this foot, so sorry, camera work's probably not the best. I'm just trying to show you some of the cool things you can do with your sewing machine with specialty feet. I know there's some packs on Amazon now that are like 42, 55 feet, and I'm pretty sure that those feet have some of them in. And I think if you had like a rolled hem foot, you could probably do that with some of this too, and it would probably work just as well with a rolled hem foot because you have a place to put this cord in. You know, you just need a place to put the cord in, and you could do this. Let's do it with number 45. 45 looks pretty cool too, but I'm going to elongate it. It's just telling me I'm getting low on my bobbin. Since the thread is on the top that I'm enclosing, you can definitely use your thread cutter. Alright, now look how cool that is. That's with your braiding foot and a decorative stitch. Look at the first one. The first one you could even have used a wider ribbon, a 7mm ribbon, but it fit entirely in that. But even this little tiny ribbon, look how cool that was. I have no idea how wide that ribbon is, I didn't measure it. And even over here, that still looks really cool. Isn't that cool? These are the cool things you can do with your machine. If you play around with these things, just take some time if you ever get any, which I managed to get some today, after having this machine for like 4 years. Woo! Play around with your machine. If you play around with your machine, you're more likely to use these in a project. If you remember what they look like and you've gone, ah yes, I can do this cool thing. But look at that. I think that just with this braid, just imagine if that was like a pink sparkly thread. That would look so cool. And it still looks cool just with the red and the pink. And that's, this is the ribbon, yarn ribbon I used. See, look at that. This is the braiding foot. It's like narrow braid foot or braiding foot. I forget, because I bought it used off of eBay. Once in a while, if you're on eBay, people sell their machine feet that they don't use. They're like, I got a new machine and I don't use any of my feet anymore because I changed brands or something or other. And so then, you know, if they traded in their machine, well, they didn't trade in all of their feet. So sometimes, once in a while, you can find like these feet on eBay, and otherwise I think they're like 25 bucks, but if you think you're going to use it, it's totally worth it, right? If you really, really like your machine, like I do. This is the candle wicking foot, and the candle wicking foot is what you need to do these faux French knots. And these faux French knots. That's a really wide, and you need this huge foot because it has this huge, enormous cutout, because the French knots get really big. They're not real French knots. If you've ever done a French knot by hand, you'll understand what I mean when I say faux French knots as soon as you see how this is stitching them out. It is definitely not a real French knot. Definitely not a real French knot. But it looks cool. It looks really cool. So, that is stitch 53. Let's stitch one out so you can see how it stitches out. Yes, right, but actually, see, it's just making like a big snowflake. So that is definitely not a French knot, but it looks really cool, so I think we'll give it a pass, because if you've done a French knot by hand, you'll know it's kind of tedious. You have to put it in, you go round, 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 and go under and pull it, right? So you have embroidery thread up, round, 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 or 5 times, and then you push it back down almost the same hole, and then you have your other finger and you pull it tight. That's a French knot. And this is definitely not a French knot, but it looks really nice. And, you know, think about combining these stitches to do other cool things. And there's just so many things you can do with decorative stitches these days. And go ahead and use them. Why not use them, you know? You have them, so use them and enjoy your machine.